Hello. So, today in my video, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be discussing how do you get accepted into law school. Now, first and foremost, I have to have a disclaimer. My house looks a mess. My ironing board is out. It's a mess. I literally just got back home. I don't feel like cleaning it. Yes, I have a bonnet on my head and there's nothing you can do about it. But I want to discuss with you guys how to get into law school. Now, this video actually is going to be kind of about law school and kind of about any school you want to go to. This is more so just like how to be successful. Now, in a perfect world, none of us would have to get jobs. None of us would have to get jobs. None of us would have to have higher education, blah, 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 blah. But we don't live in that world. We live in a world where if you want to live above the poverty line, your best bet is to go to college, get a degree, and then go to school after that. That is your best bet. So, how do you get there? What do you do? To me, as I embark on the last 2 weeks of my college experience, college is about working smarter and not harder. You have to go in with a plan. And a part of making a plan is knowing yourself. Knowing yourself. I knew I was not about to major in any science. I'm not going to be a bio major. I'm not going to be a chemistry major. I'm not going to be a geology major. I'm not going to major in any science because I know myself. I know that I cannot pass science classes on a consistent basis. Eventually, I will get an F. Eventually, I will get an F. Now, a lot of people are fully aware of the fact that they can't do things. We have been so ingrained, and it is American culture, that you can do anything that you put the work into. And I believe that 100%. Anything you are willing to do anything for, you can obtain 100%. If you are willing to do anything to get something, you will get that thing as long as you do anything for it. But you have to be honest with yourself that you are not going to do any and everything to get that. If I literally put all my effort into getting a biology degree, I would get a biology degree. I would get a chemistry degree if I put all of me into it. But I know myself and I know what I'm not going to do. And so when you are coming up with a plan on how you are going to get from point A to point B, you have to know yourself. You have to know what you are willing to do to get to point A to point B. And I say that because people come to college and they want to be a doctor. Everyone wants to be a doctor. I came into college in 2015 and that was the Grey's Anatomy era. Everyone was watching Grey's Anatomy on Netflix, so everyone wanted to be doctors, right? So, a lot of people who were majoring in these sciences did not have the intellect to be majoring in these sciences. Now, that is not saying they could not do great in these sciences if they applied themselves. The thing is, they know they suck at science. You do not go through 12 years of schooling and are just unaware of the fact that you suck at biology, you suck at chemistry, you suck at physics, you suck at you suck at things. You know when you get to college and you get through those ivory gates, you know what you are good at, period. So, in order to get the things that you want to get out of college, you have to know what you are good at and what you are willing to put in. I am not willing to put in all of me to my education. Period. Not for my undergrad. I knew going into college, I was not going to give 110%. I was not going to go above and beyond for my undergrad degree. That might sound crazy. You're spending thousands of dollars to get this degree and you're not putting all of you in it. But that's the thing. A lot of people are not honest with themselves. A lot of people lie to themselves. And that is the biggest mistake you can make in life. This is outside of college. Stop lying to yourself. Literally have a conversation with yourself and ask yourself, are you willing to do everything to get what you want? And it doesn't, if the answer to that question is no, it does not mean you don't want it. It means you don't want it that bad. You don't want it that bad. You want it, but you don't want it that bad. You're not willing to give up other things that you want to get that thing. And that is okay. Because anything that is meant for you shouldn't take that much work. In my opinion, this is my humble opinion. Anything that is meant for you, that is naturally for you, wouldn't take you feeling uncomfortable to a certain extent. Anything worth having is gonna take work, but it's gonna take work that you are willing to do, if that makes any sense. If you want something, for example, YouTube, anything, yes, YouTube takes work. It takes hard work to build a following, but it's work you want to do. You want to post regularly. You want to edit your videos. You want to do all that thing. So it doesn't, yes, it takes work, but it's not uncomfortable work. And so if you were meant to have whatever degree, whatever job you are going after, it wouldn't be so uncomfortable. But you have to have a conversation with yourself. Is the uncomfortableness worth what I'm getting in the end? And that is a conversation I have with myself all the time about anything I do in life. Is the uncomfortableness I'm feeling worth what I'm gaining in the end? And 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. The answer is no. So when you get into college or wherever you're going, be realistic. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. What am I willing to do for it? Now, if you have the conversation with yourself, you are not willing to do what the people with 4.0 GPAs are willing to do to get into med school, to get into law school, this, that, and the third, it doesn't mean you can't have those things. And that's where we're going in this video. Just because you're not willing to not have a social life, not be in a sorority, not go to parties, not do anything you want, travel, just because you are not willing to give those things up does not mean you cannot have the other thing you're seeking. It does not mean you can't be a doctor, lawyer, professor, any of these things, these amazing jobs. That does not mean that. It means you have to work smarter. If you know you're not going to work harder, you have to decide you are going to work smarter. So this is where it has to come in. Okay. I am not, realistically, I see the classes that are set up in front of me. I'm not going to make a 4.0. I'm not going to make a 4.0. I am not going to do well in some of these classes. I'm not going to do outstanding in some of these classes. That's what you have to tell yourself. I am going to struggle. I am going to struggle. So often, people believe they're just going to turn into a totally different person. They will literally be on academic probation one semester and then believe somehow they're going to make a 4.0 GPA the next semester. Be realistic with yourself. You know if you're going to actually make the change. And guess what? The next semester, they're kicked out of college. Because they didn't. You know you're not going to do any better. If you don't actively make a decision to change it's not going to happen miraculously. You are just not all of a sudden going to understand Bio 300. You are not all of a sudden going to pass Chem 210. If you barely pass 101, if you are barely passing the 101 stages in these classes, a switch is not going to flip. It's not. It is simply just not. So you're going to have to change something. If you know you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer or anything, a pharmacist, a nurse, any of these careers that takes a lot of studying, you're going to have to work smarter. You're going to have to work smarter. Now, working smarter may mean you have to go through things that the people who just worked harder didn't have to go through, because Either you're going to pay on the front end or you're going to pay on the back end. But regardless, you're going to pay. Period. So either you party all year and you leave college with a 2.7 GPA, or you don't party, you leave college with a 4.0 and you get your pick of colleges. You see, regardless, you will pay either way. The toll will ask you for your money, period. So what you have to do is realize, when are you willing to pay? Are you willing to put in a bunch of work on the front end so 4 years later you get whatever you want? Or do you want to have this amazing college experience and maybe not get into the college you wanted to get into, but you're still there? You have to have a conversation with yourself. Or, now, this is not for my people who can't just get into nothing. I'm just wanting you to know that a lot of people shut themselves out of amazing situations because they didn't have conversations with themselves. Talk to yourself. You're not crazy if you have conversations with yourself. You're shutting yourself out of a lot of things because you're not willing to have the conversation about where you want your future to go and what you're willing to put in on it. Do the research. If you are sitting in Bio 101 and that shit is hard, it is hard. You know you want to be a doctor. You want to be an OBGYN. You want to be a freaking pediatrician. You want to be any type of doctor. And you're like, this shit is hard. What do I do? So you know this semester, I'm going to get a C plus in Bio 101. Fair. A lot of people go one or two routes with their C plus. They let the C plus 100% discourage them. They stop trying to be a doctor. Boom, boom. Or two, they had this epiphany like, next semester I'm going to do better and that. No, neither of these two choices are the right choice. Now, if you got that C plus in biology because you just don't give a fuck, you just don't give a fuck, then you should stop. You should stop trying to be a doctor because you don't care. You don't care. But if you got that C plus because you just didn't put in as much work as that needed to be put in to make an A in that class, you still have hope. But the person who thinks they're just going to flip a switch and all of a sudden get an A minus next semester is fooling themselves. So you don't want to be the person who just gives up on themselves. And you also don't want to be the person who believes too much in themselves and they ain't going to do shit. They'll get kicked out of the major by the freaking dean later on. You don't want to be either of those two people. If you're making the C minus. Now, this is not for my people who are making A pluses. You're cute. We don't get your smart asses out of here. Now, I'm trying to help out the people who give up on themselves, who need reality checks. Okay. In life, there are haves and there are have-nots. You want to know what separates a have from the have-nots? Information. Access to information separate haves and have-nots. Get on your computer. If you know you made a C minus in biology, but you want to go to medical school, boom. You know at the end of these 4 years, I need to be getting accepted into medical school, point blank, period. But clearly, I am not going to put in the work that gets me into an Emory or into a Harvard or something like that. This is what you have to decide to do. Research the schools that fit into your grade point average. There are good medical schools. There are good medical schools and there are great medical schools. There are good law schools and there are great law schools. Clearly, if you're making a C minus, or if you're on the other end, pharmacist, you're making C minuses, you're probably going to have to settle. Settle. We all want to go to Harvard. So you're going to have to settle by going to just a good one. You're going to have to take solace in the fact that you go to medical school, you go to law school, you go to pharmacy school, you go to nursing school. You're going to have to realize that no, I'm not going to have this fancy law school behind me or this fancy medical school behind me, but I'm still there and I still can get everything that other people have. That is where you're going to have to believe in yourself. You're going to have to believe in yourself. So you're sitting here with your C minus. Let's say by the end of your freshman year, you're sitting at like a 3.1 GPA. That's cute. You're sitting at a 3.1 GPA with a bio major to boot. You're going to have to say, shit, it's only getting harder from here. That's the thing people don't realize. It only gets harder from here. Now, I am a success story. I am one of the few people who my freshman GPA was not good. I increased my GPA my freshman year to like now when I'm graduating by 0.8 to 0.7 grade point. So you know how, let's say for instance, I had a 3.3 my freshman year. I increased it to a 4.0. That's not me. I am not graduating with a 4.0 GPA. Wish I was, but I'm not. But I increased my freshman GPA by 0.7. That doesn't happen in college. Most people do not. After my freshman year, my GPA skyrocketed. So I am one of the few people who made that switch, but the switch didn't come overnight. It was a Ignore my outfit, by the way. It was like It was a slow grind. But that is what when you're sitting with the 3.1 GPA, you're going to have to put in the slow grind. Don't be discouraged. Like, I can't go to Emory because I don't have a good GPA. I have a 3.1, which is not a bad GPA. But to go to medical school, it is. To go to law school, it is. You're going to have to tell yourself, let me get on the internet and find the schools that will cater to me. So now, you have now put yourself in a situation where you don't get your pick. You have lost all privileges of picking. Now you have to see what school wants you, and you're going to have to cater yourself to their needs. So this is what I say. Find 3 to 4 schools that be pharmacy, nursing, law, medical, that fit what you already have. So if you be realistic now, I have a 3.1 GPA. I only have 4 semesters left of school. How much can I really bring my GPA up? Realistically, the most, if you have a 3.1 GPA after your, let's say, sophomore year, realistically, by the time you're applying for higher education out of undergrad, post undergrad education, realistically from a 3.1 sophomore year, you could probably get your GPA up to a 3.3 on a plus minus system. You can probably go from you can probably get it up to a 3.3, 3.4. That 3.4 is a push, but you could probably get your GPA up to a 3.4 in 4 semesters, especially if you're taking a lot of classes. So by the end of this, if I play everything out perfectly, now leave yourself a little wiggle room, because you know yourself. If you could get your GPA up 0.4 points just like that, you wouldn't be sitting at the GPA you got now. So let's be realistic now. Leave yourself some wiggle room to flop, because more than likely you will flop. Yes, I increased my GPA by 0.7 after my freshman year, but I flopped. There were flops in there. If I could tell you guys a story, I'll tell you the story real quick. You guys, there was a difference between me literally making a B in a class and an A+ in a class. All I had to do was not go home for spring break a couple days early. Like, spring break was the following Monday, but I could have went home that Wednesday. But I had something I had to make up. I had to make up an exam that Thursday. But I did not want to make up the exam on that Thursday because I wanted to go home that Wednesday. Mind you, spring break was the following Monday. So I wanted to have a week and a half of spring break. I had shit to do. So y'all, I didn't make up the exam. I just didn't make up the exam. So instead of getting an A+ in a class, you guys, I took the B. I took the B instead of getting an A+ in a class. That shows you how out of sync, because I know myself. And that's why when I still increased my GPA by 0.7 points, but I left wiggle room in there for me to fuck up. That was a major fuck up. I should have got the A+. Now, in the end, do I care now? No, I'm in law school. I'm going to the law school I want to go to. I could have gotten accepted into a lot of law schools. There are law schools in my emails right now trying to get me to go there and trying to get me to, there are several law schools I could have got into. So at the end of the day, do I care? No. But, you see how you have to know yourself? I know that I fuck up like that. I make stupid decisions. When I remember the very day I made that decision. I was working at the nursing school at my college, and I told myself, I'm going home. I remember she sent me an email because I asked, could I make it up early that Tuesday? She's like, no, you have to come Thursday. I said, fuck you, bitch. I'm going home. As if she gained any. She didn't care if I made it up or not. She was handing out the B regardless. I just didn't go to the exam. I just didn't go, took my B, and didn't look back. But you don't know how many times I actually have looked back and how much work I had to make up and compensate for getting that B. So now I got a B in a class where I should have got an A+. And so now I have to get A+ in classes that I could have just got a B in. You see, you gotta work smarter, not harder. Stop setting yourself up. Stop setting yourself up. Or if you're gonna set yourself up, know yourself. Know what makes you tick. Know what you are gonna do, what you're not gonna do. That's what you gotta know. You gotta know those things. So, I'm saying that to say, there are medical schools that will accept you with a 3.3. There are law schools that will accept you with a 3.3. They're out there. A lot of people think some of these institutions are prestigious, and they are. They are. Going to law school is a big deal because you still have to take the admissions test. That's the thing. That is the key. Smarter, not harder. If you know your GPA ain't that girl, it is not that girl. You're gonna have to do better on the admissions test. All these schools have admissions tests. Nursing school has an admission test. Pharmacy school has an admissions test. Medical school and law school all have admissions tests. The reason why they give these admissions tests is for people who don't have the best GPAs. This is your time to shine, because you want to know something about Kenya. When I sat down and took my LSAT, my neck was on the line. My neck was on the line. Not only did I want to be accepted into law school, I needed scholarship. I needed something. So, and I didn't know what law school I was going to. Now, looking back, I did not have to do as well as I did on my LSAT to get into the law school I wanted to go to. But it gave me options, and now I just got a huge scholarship from the law school I'm going to, because when I sat down in my seat, I didn't get that because of my GPA. I know good and damn well they didn't give it to me because of my GPA. They gave it to me because of my LSAT score. You have to sell yourself. C's get degrees. People say that. They say that. But you got to do so much more. If you are going to be a C's get degrees type of person, you're going to have to do other things. You're going to have to be like, you know what? I'm not going to go to the best law school in the country, but what I am going to do is I'm going to get a good LSAT score. I'm going to get a good GRE. Is that what it's called? Not the GRE. By the way, this goes for graduate school as well if you want to get into. So yes, the GRE too, and the MCAT for medical school. It is called the MCAT. Right? I don't know what the fuck y'all doing in medical school. I think it's the MCAT. You're going to have to tell yourself, I need a scholarship, or I need this. So you're going to have to make up for things where you slacked, where you're going to have to make up the slack. The reason why I'm making this video is it bothers me when people shut the door on people. I remember, fuck you to my my counselor, my freaking advising counselor at UA. He was my advising counselor for 2 years, my freshman year and sophomore year. I want to give a big fuck you to him because he told me out of his mouth, I needed to look for other things to do. This was after my first semester of freshman year. He said I probably wasn't going to go to law school. Now, was he right about saying that? Maybe. My GPA was bad, you guys. I didn't fail any classes all my college career. Let me not speak too soon because these classes ain't done right now. But I have not failed a single one of my classes. But I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I'm going to tell you, I took Philosophy 101. I came into that class a week and a half late, number one. And for everyone knows Philosophy 101 is hard as hell. It is hard. You guys, my grade in Philosophy 101, I'm not going to repeat it. Redacted. I'm not saying it. You won't know. But I didn't fail. I passed the class. But y'all, that is the lowest grade I have ever, I've never made a grade anywhere near as low as I made in Philosophy 101. But when you literally, my freshman year of college, I only took 4 classes. So when one of them is a horrible grade and the other 3 are mediocre at best, my GPA was ass. So I'm sitting there in front of him and he's like, sis, now on my thing, it said I was on the pre-law track. So I'm looking at him, he's looking at me. He's like, what you plan on doing when you leave in college? And I said, I'm going to law school. And he was like, you might need to think of other careers. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Nothing productive. And I'm just like, what are you saying? What are you saying? Like, no, I haven't thought. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do what you want to do. Period. Point blank, period. When someone asks you what you're doing after college, tell them what you're doing and don't say, but if I can't, I'll do this. No, it was never a question. After I graduate college, I'm going to law school, dear. When he said that, I'm like, no, I'm going to law. I looked him dead in his face and was like, no, I'm going to law school. Like, you don't need to give me any other things I might or coulda, shoulda, woulda, if this. I'm going to law school. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. And guess what the fuck I did? I figured it out. So this video is for me to tell you, don't let anyone tell you you can't do something because you slipped up. Life is about slipping up. None of the people in these institutions, these lawyers, these doctors, these pharmacists, these nurses, these anything, didn't fuck up once in their life. Everyone has fucked up. Now, I want to give a shout out though to my geology teacher. My last semester of my sophomore year, I took geology, right? And I went up to my professor and I told him I was having a hard time at it. I told him that the reason I was already mooching, I was trying to go get a higher grade in geology, which he gave it to me. But I was going to go get a higher grade. So I went to him after class and I was telling him, I was just like, yo, this ain't looking good for your girl. It's not looking good out here for your girl. And he was like, he pulled up my transcript and stuff and he saw my GPA and he was like, girl, your GPA not even bad. I'm like, but in comparison, number one, this is a side note. We're going back geology. We're going back to this point. I never go back to my point, but people lie. People are lying to you in college. Your friend who was over here like, oh child, I made 3 A pluses and 1 A minus this semester. They're lying. Now summertime, but people lie to you. And it took me too long to figure out. Everybody who claims that they doing this in college and they doing this one in college, they're lying to you. And you want to know why I know they're lying to you? Because I'm in my senior year of college and I'm asking these people where they going after and they confused. They don't know if they getting accepted. But sis, you was telling me every semester for the past 4 years, you had A pluses, you was on this dean's list, that dean's list. So how are you confused if you getting into grad school back in your hometown? How are you confused? Huh? But I thought we were on dean's list. I thought we were making A pluses. People are lying to you. People will lie to you about their grades to make you feel like shit. People will literally lie to you to make you feel like shit and they got a lower grade than you. It's baffling. It is baffling the cap the capping that people will do in order to make you feel like shit. And you will feel like shit. You'll be vulnerable and be like, I'm struggling this semester. And they over there being like, you gonna do better, girl, but I got a 4.0. And then come to find out 4 years later, it ain't that. It ain't that. It ain't that. They got a lower GPA than you. But so don't let people count you out. But let's go back to geology. Let's brag that. So I was telling him, I'm like, my GPA ain't good. And he's like, girl, your GPA is fine. You're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm trying to go to law school. This GPA won't get me into law school. I don't know what I'm going to do. And he was like, girl, my geology professor went to UGA. He went to the University of Georgia. And he was like, at your time, I had a worse GPA than you. He could have been lying to me. He could have been feeding me smoke, but I needed this anecdote. He was saying my GPA was significantly worse than yours. He said, I had just joined a sorority. I had just joined a fraternity and my grades were in the toilet. He said, I was on academic probation. He's like, I had to meet with the dean to show him my grades for the semester so I wouldn't get kicked out. He said, as you can see now, I am literally a professor. I have a doctorate. I have a PhD. So clearly things turned up. He's like, you are fine. He said, but you have to make the decision that you want it. You have to make the decision. Not only, I'm taking it a step further, not only that you want it, but that you deserve it. That you deserve it. You have to allow yourself to be human, but also allow yourself to say, my humanity and my individualism is the reason why I deserve whatever I'm going for. Me leaving for spring break and not making up that assignment doesn't mean I don't deserve to be a lawyer. It means that I'm human. It means that I fuck up. But it means that the fact that I'm able to say that I fucked up means I do deserve to be a lawyer. It means you have to allow yourself to grow. And that's what my geology professor really told me, in that allow yourself to grow. You deserve growth. That is the big message of this video. You deserve growth. You deserve to be better. You deserve to get whatever you set your mind out to. Whatever you think about before you go to sleep at night, you deserve it. It doesn't matter if you don't study as much as you should. It doesn't matter if you go out and party more than you go out and study. It doesn't matter if you at frat houses more than you in the library. It doesn't matter. You have to make the decision that you deserve what you want. Because the minute you make the decision that you deserve it, you'll put in the work. You'll put in the work the minute you decide you deserve it. I was shitting on myself before I met with my geology professor because I didn't think I deserved it. Once my academic advisor told me I need to look at other things instead of law school, he told me I didn't deserve it. So I believed him. When he told me I needed to look at other things besides law school, I believed that I didn't deserve it. So he doesn't think I deserve to be in law school. So why should I believe I deserve to be in law school? It took my geology professor telling me, you know, you can do it. You deserve it. And once that horrible stench got out of my nose from my freaking advisor, I believed I deserve it. And that's where my GPA went up 0.7 points. My GPA went up 0.7 points and I'm going to law school because it took me making the decision. Now, that doesn't mean I was out here acing every test, studying and not partying. I found my boyfriend at the end of my sophomore year class. So I was out here zipping and zooing it. But in the back of my mind, I was making plans because I was like, you know what? Not only do I deserve to go to law school, but I deserve my amazing boyfriend. I deserve my group of friends. I deserve to go out and party. I deserve to go on trips. I deserve all those things too. Deserving one thing does not mean you don't deserve all these other things. So yes, I deserve to go to law school, but I deserve the social life as well. I deserved all the things that I was doing on the side. So you have to find how do I keep these things but also get to law school? And that's where information comes in. That's where it takes you studying. It takes you calculating your GPA. That's where I say work smarter. If you know I don't have to get an A in this class. I don't have to get an A+ in this class. I can get a B+ and still get to my end goal. You're good. You are good. Now, of course, you should try to do your best. And no one's saying, like, if you can get the A+, don't strive. You should go in every class and strive for an A+. But let's be realistic. Anyone who has been to college will tell you, there are times where you go into a class and you say to yourself, if I leave this bitch with a B, I have succeeded. We all know we've all done that. If I leave here with a B, I am good. That does not mean I won't do extra credit. I won't go to office hours. I won't do what I need to do. What it does mean is I am willing to love myself. I'm willing to love myself. And so, yes, I just wanted to, tell you guys, don't give up on yourself. Dude, you deserve whatever you believe you deserve. Whatever you believe you deserve, you deserve. If the minute you tell yourself you're not worthy of something, you won't get it. You won't put in the work to get it. And put in the work to get it does not always mean studying. It means doing the research to get you to that point. Figuring out what medical schools you can go to with your GPA is a way you show yourself you deserve it. Well, I can't go to Harvard, but I can go to whatever other medical school. I can go to any other medical school. That's part of you telling yourself you deserve it. Taking another path than the most prestigious path. Being like, no, I can't go to Harvard Law, but I can go to any other law school. You find a way to get there. People who know they deserve something find a way to get there. They use the system to their advantage and they get there. That's what you gotta do. You gotta find a way to get there. That's all I'm saying. Bonded it all. Anyways, this video was long, but I had to pop some tea. I had to give y'all some info. Anyways, love you guys so much. I will see you in my next one. Bye-bye.